Everybody, this is Gary. I'm here with Frank Lopez. Frank, how are you?
Good, Gary. How are you?
I'm great. Frank, we haven't touched this topic for a little bit, and I know that you're the expert in probate. So, how about this? Let's talk about probate, but in more condensed, like a little review of everything that is probate if you want to do it yourself. Let's say that, can we go over the process of doing a probate yourself?
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because it's a question that comes up a lot. And so I'll go through the steps. I'm going to go through them kind of quickly because there are several, and because I know we like to try to keep these calls to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So to go through all the steps and get it under 10 minutes is a challenge. I'm going to go through actually through six steps. The last one I think is the one I want to emphasize the most, which is a free guide on how to probate your estate by yourself without an attorney. It's a free guide. It's not mine. It's not published through me. It's actually published through a company called Nolo Press. And Nolo Press is a they're publishers of legal documents, of legal books, and
Mhm.
they published a book called how to how to administer an estate in California. And it goes through everything is like amazingly detailed. And I'll talk more about that later because that's a really, really good guide that I don't think we've brought up yet and would be, I think, very helpful to a lot of our listeners.
Okay, so Nolo Press, and what's the title of the of that free guide? Can you
It
point
it's
us
called
out?
it's called how to probate an estate in California. And like I said, they're publishers of legal books and legal documents. It's not my publishing. It's somebody else. It's somebody who went to a lot of trouble to literally go step by step on what to do. And here's the cool thing, it's free.
Oh, great. People like free. I like free.
I like free. So okay, so really quickly, step number one is you start by getting the forms, and the forms you could get online. You could do a real simple search, which is do a search for Superior Court, depending on what county you're in. You could do
Mhm.
LA Superior Court, a Google LA Superior Court, Google Riverside Superior Court, San Bernardino Superior Court, or Orange County Superior Court, and it'll
Mhm.
give you a link to their website. And in their website, you could download the documents on the forms that you'll need to file your case, and they're free. So the
Mhm.
first step is getting the forms, and you get those through their website through doing a Google search. Step two is once you've got those forms filled out, you e-file. And e-file is, for a lot of people are familiar with filing online for taxes. You could file you literally can fill out everything online and send it through for your income tax. It's the
Mhm.
same process basically. It's a independent company that you would actually, there's more than one company, so you could again do a Google search there for companies that do that sort of thing. And the really good thing about that is that they direct you. They will tell you these are the documents you need to submit, and if something is missing, they'll let you know. So it's a somebody who not only is filing for you, but they're kind of keeping you going in the right direction and letting you know if something is missing or incomplete. So, yes, they do. Yes, they do. Good point. Yes, they charge, and I can't remember how much they charge to be honest. That's why I would again Google e-filing for Superior Court, and
Mhm.
more than one company will show up and
Mhm.
do a comparison. They to see what they charge and which one is the least expensive. I have one company that I like to use. I won't go into, I'm not going to go into it right now. We can talk if anybody has some questions, they could reach out to me. But there's one company that I like a lot that does a real good job.
Mm.
And you can reach out to me if you have any questions on that. So that's step number two. Step number three is that once they e-file, that what they're doing is they are doing step three for you, which is they are requesting your first appearance or your first court date. And that is when you would actually go to court. The person who's filling out the forms to petition the court to be the person in charge, which would either be the administrator or the executor, And again, e-filing will help you, figure out which one you will be. Once you file the documents, you'll get a court date, and you appear at court. You appear at court, and you will also, they're going to ask you who the relatives are, and the immediate relatives will also be invited to go to court so that if you are petitioning the court and that you want to be in charge, the other family members will know that you're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody else wants to be in charge, they might show up. They might say, "Hey, I don't want Gary to be in charge of this case. I want
Mm-hmm.
to be in charge." And
Mm-hmm.
then you would both present, why you should be in charge.
Yes.
And then the judge would make a decision on who's the person that's going to be in charge. So that's your first appearance. But before you do that, there's something that you have to do that's super, super important. You have to publish your court date. And if you go to your first court date and you show up, the first thing that they're going to ask you is, "Hey, Gary, did you publish through a newspaper, through a legal newspaper, that this court date is coming up and that you're telling the court, hey, on this date I'm going to be in court and I want to be the person in charge of the estate." If you didn't do that, they're going to say, "Hey, Gary, sorry, but you need to find a newspaper that will publish a court date. So guess what? We're going to give you a new court date that's 30 days from now, maybe even 45 days from now, depending on how busy they are. And now, because you got to go and find a newspaper company that will charge you to publish your court date. And you will have to, on your next court date, you're going to have to come over here and show us proof that you published, because they will
Wow.
not listen. They won't even let you get started if you haven't done that. And this is just one of those things that the court requires that nobody knows about, but that has to be done. And if you don't do it, you just lost 30 days. And you went to the court unnecessarily, and you paid $25 for parking to park at at the court parking. And
And you know how
and they,
expensive they are.
yeah, they are not cheap. So and they send you home
Yeah.
literally with nothing. They tell you you messed up. You should have done this, and you didn't. But now you know. So
Mm-hmm.
go and get it done. See you in 30 days. Make sure when you come back in 30 days that you bring us proof that you published the court date. And publishing basically is same thing. You Google legal newspaper. You contact them. You tell them when your court date is,
Mm-hmm.
and they will handle all that for you. And you got to get that done right away, because they actually they will not publish your court date unless you call them a minimum of 3 weeks before the actual date of the hearing. So if you call them the day before and say, "Hey, I have a hearing tomorrow. I need you to publish for me," they're going to say, "Should have called us 3 weeks ago. No
Three
can
weeks
do."
then to publish
3 weeks prior, yes,
that piece of
minimum
information.
3 weeks before that court date. So that is step four. Step five is a lot. I'm seeing more and more probate cases where there is a reverse mortgage attached to the property. The one thing you don't want to do is you do not want to let your lender know, that lender know, that the person that had applied for the loan has passed. Because the first thing they'll do is they'll file a notice of default, and they do that to pressure you to pay off their loan, because with all reverse mortgages, the deed says the minute that the person that applied for the loan passes, you have to
Mm-hmm.
contact the lender. You have to let them know that that person has passed away, and you have to tell us that you're going to either sell the property or you're going to pay off the loan. We don't care how you do it, but you got to
But
do
you have
it,
to
and
do
you got
it.
to pay us off. And the last thing you need is, with all this other stuff going on, it's a lot of work. The last thing you need is to be getting notices in the mail from the lender saying, "Hey, we're gonna foreclose on your property
Where's my
because we
money?
found out, yeah, because we found out that the person that applied for the loan has passed away, and we want to get paid off. And the only way we know how to get paid off is we start the notice of default / notice of foreclosure if you don't get it done in time." So that's step number six. Do not let the lender know that do not call them and tell them that the that person passed away.
Mhm.
And then step number seven, and actually you could almost say this could be step number one.
Wow. Start over again.
No, not start over, but this is step number seven. That this is the book that I was talking about.
Mm,
This book is literally, I wish I had a copy of it. It's literally like this. It's about this. Where's my camera? It's literally about that. Yeah, about an inch and a half thick book, and it's a big book. It's not like a little book. It's like, one of these huge, God, what would you even call it? It's just it's a lot of instruction. It's a very, very big and detailed book. Again, it is, I think if you could buy it, you could go to the Nolo Press website,
hmm
and you can order it online, and they'll send it to you. They'll physically send it to you. And I believe it's about a $35 book that you could buy if you want to have your own copy. There, you don't have to do that. There
hmm
is a website through LA Superior Court that will that actually no, it's not through LA Superior Court. It's by the LA Law Library, and they provide it free. It's a free down. Yeah, yeah. So that's and that's something that I would recommend to anybody who's considering doing their own probate, because it'll answer all your questions. You just have to be willing to read it, and or at least look up, the those questions that you need answered. But it's super super helpful to have. I have a few copies myself of the book, and it's just been very very helpful. So those are the steps. If you want a copy of the book, Gary, reach out to me and I'll send you the link on where you can actually go online, and you don't even have to talk to anybody. You could just click on the link and request the book, and the book will be sent to you through email.
Let's do it then, Frank. Yeah, just in time because our time's up. If people want to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you to get that book?
You can either call me at 626-289-1111, or you can email me at franklopezbroker.com. That's franklopezbroker.com.
Awesome. Well, Frank, thank you very much, and we'll talk next time.